How has being in a relationship changed me over the past 2 years? This is a question I was asked by my girlfriend Jen over in the back, and it's an interesting question, right? Because having a partner in a relationship changes how you spend your time, changes how you value things, and especially for me, someone who I think is someone who I think really needs to be in a relationship. Maybe I think it's changed a lot over the past 2 years. So for context, my partner and I, Jen, have been dating for the last 1 year and 8-9ish months. We're currently engaged just last month. And the past 2 years have been, I would say, really rewarding and enjoyable. I'm someone who typically, I have a lot of acquaintances, but my close circle of friends is quite small. And the people I talk to on a regular, let's say everyday basis, is even smaller. And so typically, for me personally, the only person I talk to regularly is my partner. And so with and without a partner is drastically and wildly different, right? I go from someone who is really just living on my own, doing my own thing, seeing friends here and there, to doing and living life and sharing that life with someone else. So it's been crazy, right? And even before I was dating, I think I can often be in a cycle, right? I'm in a cycle of doing my own thing, working my own goals, being super ambitious, but also falling into sort of these slumps where I have this intense feeling of wanting to be in a relationship, and then I'm trying to seek that, whether it's in going on dating apps, I'm going dating and finding that I'm unfulfilled there, right? Because as you would know, dating apps are really hard, and at the end of the day, it is a numbers game, and seeing dating as a numbers game isn't exactly the most optimistic, right? Finding your lifelong partner, but having to churn through so many people to get there, really doesn't feel that great. But more realistically, how has it changed me? I think it's made me a more patient and I would say considerate person, right? Because when you're by yourself, you just listen to yourself, right? If you want to eat something, you go and eat it. If you want to do something, you go and do it. You're the only person you need to tend to. But when you're in a relationship, that completely changes, right? It's not just you, it's you and your partner. And so you don't just get to do whatever you want, because that might not be the preferences of your partner. And so you really have to rewire how you view things, or how you view your own preferences, right? So it almost forces you to be less selfish. Because if you continue to act in the same individualistic way that you would without your partner, as in when you're out with your partner, then it's very likely to cause conflict. It's very likely to be one-sided, and that relationship isn't likely going to continue, right? Your relationship is formed of two people with different personalities, different preferences, and to make that relationship work, then you need to come together and consider what the other person thinks, and obviously for them to consider what you think as well. And one thing is definitely being less selfish. On a similar note, I think being able to, because there's this other party to tend to, being able to communicate with them and express how I feel more clearly has been really important. Because again, when you're by yourself, you understand your thoughts, you have your feelings, and you might assume that someone else understands you the same way you do, but that's clearly not the case. And so conflict arises when you think one type of way and you assume your partner thinks the same way when they clearly don't. And so being able to articulate how you feel on very sensitive topics that I typically as a guy wouldn't share is something that has been really helpful, and I think an area where I've grown. I'm gonna keep this short for 4 minutes because we've got to go out. So those are some two short snippets on how being in a relationship has changed me over the past 2 years. Definitely more to say, but I'm gonna have to chat.